about Big Brabee Liberia. Right, the ministry did a statement yesterday warning the organizers to do away with certain things that are inimical to the cultural values of Liberia. What prompted that warning? We want to find out. What Big Brabee Liberia is about? We want to find out. Has it breached our cultural norms? We're going to find out. What are your questions about Big Brabee Liberia as well, those of you out there in the public? Because we've seen that there's been barrage of public condemnation regarding the way Big Brabee Liberia is proceeding. But until then, my name is Matthias Labindi. You can't afford to miss this conversation. It was a statement, by the way, right? It's a statement that you read and analyze by yourself. Now you have an opportunity to hear from the house's mouth, who sat with the organizers and told them about basic things that they were breaching. So you two have your questions to the minister, prepare them. He's going to be joining us shortly via WhatsApp to tell us about Big Brabee Liberia and other things that we need to know regarding the program and how it's benefiting the Liberian society. My name is Matthias Labindi. I'll be right back after this break.
Through rain, but like.
That's right. You're listening to Nothing to Hide on Sky 107.1 this afternoon. Our guest is the Deputy Minister for Administration at the Ministry of Information, Minister Daniel Gayedyu. Minister Gayedyu speaks to us via WhatsApp regarding this program, Big Brabee Liberia. This organization, Big Brabee Liberia, what is it about? How is it benefiting the Liberian society? Is it that the public is not seeing the benefits that it's bringing to the country, but it's looking at the negative side? That's why many people are, weighing hard on some things that they observe that are inimical to the cultural values of this country. What are those specific things? We're going to be asking the hard questions. You too can join us, to hear from the minister. My name is Matthias. Today is the 6th of July, 2021. The minister is not speaking to us via, through the video, the medium of the video, but we are just having him on audio. So you're going to hear him. And those of you who are watching us on Facebook, on Sky Communications Liberia Facebook page, as well as YouTube, Sky FM and TV Liberia, you can also join us on the program. Drop your comments. We're going to read them out for you. You follow that program live on Facebook every time. It's screened live on Facebook. So you may have had some issues. By the way, you have maybe some issues with it, but we can now raise those concerns. The minister is on the line. It's a pleasure having the minister this afternoon. Minister Gayedyu is on the line. Let's quickly. Now, the minister is on the line, by the way. Let's just join him. Good afternoon, Minister. It is a pleasure. It's a pleasure having you on this afternoon.
Good afternoon, Matthias.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Welcome to Nothing to Hide. It's a pleasure having you on the program this afternoon.
Thank you.
How's the job?
The job is great. We all face challenges every day to help to solve the problem of the Liberian people. It's something that we have passion for.
And
we are in the right direction.
That's right. You're one minister that rarely speaks because your work is
yes, because my job does not dictate that. I operate according to my term of reference.
Yeah.
Yes, I will come up once in a while when it's necessary, but you have the Department of Public Affairs, you have other departments. Well, I'm the Deputy Minister for Administration, and I supervise finance, procurement, human resource, operations, IT. Those are not departments or units that call for public speaking all the time.
I know. I understand that. And how is that going? Is it enjoyable? Is it entertaining? Most especially working for your country, or is a back-breaking job?
It is a privilege and a pleasure to serve your country. These kind of opportunities rarely come, and that the president has afforded me such privilege. I'm very grateful. I'm passionate about it, and yes, I enjoy it. I enjoy helping to solve problems that affect the real people out there.
All right. So let's go to the main issue here now. I have this release before me, and many people that have read it. I know it's gone wild and all in the newspapers and thing. I want to first of all find out, what is Big Brabee Liberia about? What is it about?
Big Brabee Liberia is a reality show, first of its kind. Its second episode that is hosted on television for all of us to watch. And it's almost after, it's copy after what you got Big Brother Naja. And so it adds to the tourism, it adds value to the tourism sector of our country.
Okay.
So it's a reality show.
So by that, does the country stand to benefit anything from it?
Yes, it should promote the positive culture of our country, consistent with our guidelines and the proposal, and also be able to promote talented young Liberians, to expose them to the world and see how these individuals and the country as a whole can benefit from the talents that are scouted during this project.
So during the scouting process of these young talents, as you've just stated, do you participate in the process of knowing who gets in?
What we do is we ensure that Big Brabee Liberia adhere to the guidelines. So, for example, they make a proposal. We go into the proposal. If there are possible modifications, if we grant that a permit, we tell them this is what we expect of you, and the rules are set. So it is our responsibility to ensure that the rules are conforming with the guidelines of MICAT. So the rules are communicated to the participants, and they are vetted and orientated. So the rules are also meant to use to guide them. And as they are acting in a reality show, they should be able to keep the rules in mind. Okay. That's the intention. So MICA is there to ensure that all of the criteria that we set are complied with.
So your July 5 press statement, indicates that the organizers are to some extent breaching the rules, which you indicated here, that you as a ministry, you've warned the organizers of Big Brabee Liberia against screening any content on their reality television show which goes against established guidelines on public decency and obscenity. You've had a discussion with the organizers, you've given them the guidelines and so on. What prompted this release in the public, warning them against screening anything that goes against the reality, the cultural norms of Liberia? Did you notice any breach in your guidelines?
There were a few scenes that we thought were a bit sexually explicit and obscene for public consumption. We even experienced the public outcry, and some members of the public raised their concerns. So we have to call them to let them know that this is in breach of the guidelines that we have at the Ministry of Information. We have our guidelines that prohibit the broadcast of explicit sexual images and the broadcast of vulgar language. So we have to remind them that if this happens, we want to take action against you, which may include the revocation of your permit.
Sexually explicit images, video, and audio, or other contents that run afoul of Liberian cultural values. Would you mind explaining that a bit. You know, you say you
Right.
notice.
It's just explanatory. When we were growing up, and according to our culture, we do not really, our culture does not accept scenes of people dramatizing the act of sex, whether it's drama or it's real. Our culture does not permit that. Those are things that should be done in secret and in confidence. So if somebody is doing it on screen and broadcasting it, we think that it doesn't conform to our positive Liberian culture.
So the word definition is already explanatory, as you mentioned here. This particular question I just asked, so I know the answer already. Yeah, but I asked because the public needs some explanation. But by the way, sir, what's the proper definition of reality TV show? Because if you now want to say someone cannot do X, Y, Z, and so, but yet you're calling it reality TV show, what does it mean?
But Matthias, even in reality, people are prohibited from doing certain things. I'm not supposed to insult you in reality. I'm not supposed to steal in reality. I'm not supposed to murder somebody in reality. I'm not supposed to walk naked on Broad Street in reality. So it's not because it means that it's a reality show. It means that the things that are prohibited outside, prohibited by our culture and our guidelines can be tolerated. The reality show is not a license to behave anyhow. There are restrictions, there are guidelines to anything, and even this project. And as I said, the guidelines are read, the participants are cognizant of these guidelines. And these guidelines are also consistent with our guidelines. So as much as in reality, most of these things, in fact, that our guidelines prohibit are also prohibited in reality.
Okay.
Would you accept, or would our society accept two individuals having sex in the street? Will we accept that? Do we not applaud such act? Do we accept people having conversation and using vulgar language? Those are not things that we rarely accept as a society. So it's not because you are on the screen and maybe you're looking for votes or what, so you have to do it. And I don't think it will even help you win.
Minister, in your statement, you mentioned that moving forward, you're going to be working with the producers of Big Brabee Liberia to ensure that their contents are proper, you know, that will be acceptable to the Liberian society. Does it mean that you licensed the group and just let them to go and give them the guidelines and say with the hope that they will live up to the guidelines? And it is now that it's getting to you that you need to follow them through and ensure that you watch them closely as they package the program.
No, that's not what it means. What it means is that we are going to have a more or closer inspection. For example, as I told you, we have the guidelines. We said do X, Y, and Z. Have you done this? This is a guideline, they show it to us. Have you communicated it to your participant? Yes. Did you use the guideline during your vetting process? Yes. And we were there at the monitoring level, watching them at every step. But then they're saying that when people intend to do these things, they cannot detect it unless they start to do it. So we said, okay, so we'll put an inspector in your production room. So for example, if the person does it, the 2 seconds, maybe they're doing it for 5 seconds or 1 minute, but after the first 2 seconds, we'll be able to blur the scene and then disqualify, evict the individuals that are engaged in it.
Okay, so you said in your response to the question that you're going to do more in ensuring that you checkmate them, but your statement did not indicate that you're going to do more, but you said it was decided in my mind that it was just after you observed some obscenity going on in there, is when you decided as a ministry, you said in the second to the last paragraph of your statement that it was decided that MICAT will assign an inspector. That it was decided. Was it decided doing this just in the meeting, or is something that you had on mind, but you did not dispatch your inspectors?
There were certain preventable measures that were already into play. These preventable measures are: 1, the guidelines were set. 2, Big Brabee agreed to conform to the guidelines. 3, the guidelines were used during the vetting process. 4, the guidelines were explained to the individual and they acknowledged the guideline. So those are things that by expectation, they shouldn't have been doing. Now that it is happening, we have established another layer of prevention. And again, you just said reality show. So if somebody violates, it doesn't mean that that person was permitted. So when the person violates, that person will be evicted.
Okay.
But it's something that we just need to emphasize all of the time. And for the public consumption's sake, we have deployed an inspector in the production room so that the damage shouldn't be grave. If somebody decides to take off their clothes during a reality show, that inspector will ensure that that scene is blurred, and then that person will be evicted. That's a second level prevention, because you don't know what the person intends to do. At the same time, over and over, we'll be cautioning the housemates, the participants.
Okay, Minister, there's this information I need you to clarify quickly. The name of the program, the reality TV show is Big Brabee Liberia, which means there is solely Liberian. Everything that's displayed on that television is Liberian culture. But there's a report that the person heading this particular organization is a Nigerian. You know, not trying to stereotype a Nigerian. We are all, one people, West Africans. But is that the case? Should it be headed by another national?
There are a lot of Liberians. In fact, the project itself has a minimum accommodation for expats. Like our labor law requires, there is a minimum participation for expats in this project. So yes, there may be some foreigner with the expertise. This kind of reality show is new to Liberia. And when people apply for it, if they are the persons that are qualified to host the show, they will be granted a permit if they meet all of the requirements. So like you said, we cannot stereotype. If another person applies, is not whether Liberian or not Liberian is going, but there are Liberians working on the project, and they are also guided. The number of experts that should participate is restricted.
By that, Fred Olala is a Nigerian qualified to head this thing.
He was the one that was vetted and was given the permit as the head of the Big Brabee Liberia to run a show.
And he's fully aware of Liberia's cultural norms and values. You think so?
Yes, he has to be fully aware before we can grant the permit. Because as I said, there is a proposal that accompanying the application. The proposals are screened, and we sit down after agreeing and tell them what exactly we want, if there are needs for modifications. And so by the time the person is about to host the show, they are well conversant with Liberian culture and our cultural values.
Does the Liberian
so the issue that is arising is not because one Nigerian is part of the project. It's not because of that.
Executive director.
The participants that are in the house are Liberians, and they are not under the direction of any other person to say, when you get in the house, do this and do this and do this. They have their free will to do what they want to do, and those who are committing what is offensive to, the screen and the public are Liberians. So I don't see why that should be established as a proximate cause to what happened. That because somebody of different nationality participated as the executive director of the project.
Minister Gayedyu, what is the government's position on homosexuality?
Matthias.
Yes, sir.
There are laws on our books. I don't want to open a legal clinic, but there are laws.
You are an attorney. I'm asking the question.
The government is responsible
Yeah.
for upholding the laws of the country, upholding and defending the laws of the country. So they
Hello there. Hello. No, internet don't do that. We need the minister. We need the minister back on. Minister Daniel.
Yeah. Or does not homosexuality is the position of the government.
No, I didn't get that. You know, the line froze. So would you mind repeating that? What is government's position on homosexuality?
Government position is the legal position of our land.
What is the legal position?
What our laws say.
Yeah. What did they say?
That's what I said. But I don't want to open a legal clinic. We can refer to the law.
All right, let me just inform the public that the Deputy Minister Daniel Gayedyu, is not just a Deputy Minister, he's an attorney at law. So for no reason he feels to interpret to us the law, maybe he's trying to deprive us of the information that we're asking for. Minister, what is the legal interpretation of the government's position legally on homosexuality, sir? Minister Daniel Gayedyu is probably having little issue with the... Yeah. Minister, what is government's legal position on homosexuality?
Yes, I'm just saying the same thing.
Is it prohibited or accepted?
Somebody commits... But my is just simple. If the government does not operate outside of the law, does the government operate outside of the law? If the government operates outside of the law, if the government operates outside of the law, the government will have to answer to those people. There will be backlashes. But we, as a government, we do not operate outside of the law to have a separate position from what the law says. And I'm referring to the law. The law only prohibits sodomy. So far.
The law only prohibits sodomy?
Sodomy. The law criminalizes sodomy. It prohibits sodomy.
So sodomy, does it generalize the term homosexuality? Yes.
I'm telling you about sodomy. That's what the law prohibits. So it means that anybody who commits sodomy, that person will be persecuted. If it is known and established in a court of law, they will be persecuted. But that's how far the law is. Now, for you to say what is the government position on homosexuality, that's a different thing. So if the law does not in any way condemns anything or prohibits anything surrounding that or any other portion, the government cannot take a new position. Also, on the other hand, if the law prohibits any portion, the government also prohibits that. So the government is following the law.
So you know, unfortunately for me, and it's my fault, I need to check it out. So as it stands now, I've not read that portion of the law. As it stands, only sodomy the government prohibits. I asked the question openly, homosexuality, because homosexuality has layers. We have lesbianism, we have gayism. At this point, the minister is informing us that the government only prohibits sodomy. So let me...
No, at this point, I'm informing you that the government operates according to the law. The government operates in conformity with the law, that the government does not operate independent of the law. And the law is clear, that the law prohibits sodomy.
All right.
So when you talk about... Hello?
Go ahead. Minister, are you there? Minister Daniel Gayedyu is my guest this afternoon on Nothing to Hide. We're talking exclusively about a reality television show that is run and operated here in Liberia to showcase talents, according to what the minister said, and is also intended to promote our cultural values. So Liberia's cultural values. There have been concerns in the public about this particular reality TV show promoting homosexuals, and as well as engaging in some other obscene, act in the house, which is something that we reached out to the minister who's in charge of this particular area to respond to us. Is the minister back on the line? All right. So the minister is having some connection issue. This is a very sticky sticky issue. The good thing is that the minister is an attorney at law. So if the law only prohibits sodomy, meaning homosexuals can operate, government does not operate outside of the law. If the law says, in my mind, once the law only prohibits sodomy, which is a layer of homosexuality, yeah. So the government cannot go after a man who is a gay. The government cannot go after a lady who is a lesbian. She's not a sodomite. He's not a sodomite. He is what? A gay? All right. But let's see. Is the minister back on? And we are concerned about this reality TV show that is run and operated here. And we are asking questions. The question, our topic this afternoon, by the way, we're asking a question, a very critical one, and asking a question that a reality TV show dubbed the Big Brabee Liberia has come under serious public condemnation for allegedly promoting, is he back on? All right, for allegedly promoting homosexuality, an act that runs contrary to Liberia's cultural norms. Recently, the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism warned the organizers of BBL against screening of sexually explicit images, video and audio, or other contents that run afoul of Liberian cultural values. So we want to get some interpretation, some basic understanding of why, what exactly the ministry referred to as screening explicit, sexually explicit images, video and audio in that house. Well, but let's look at the two words, right? I like to, follow up some things. So let me check sodomy. Are they the same? Sodomy. And is the minister back? Minister, are you there? Hello? 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 Oh my, this thing is really, really bad. So we hope to get him back. Sodomy typically includes anal sex, oral sex, and bestiality. In practice, sodomy laws have rarely been enforced against homosexual couples and have mostly been used to target homosexuals. So they are two different things, right? Are they different, right? Let's look at them. Let's go further in getting the definition. Now, what conceptions of homosexuality and sodomy in Western history? What is it about? How do we connect the two? Homosexuality, sodomy. So homosexuality is what? Is it something? Is the big brother to sodomy, or is a layer of sodomy? Is it what? Well, I don't want to read something long here, but let's see. And it says, the essay. Hello, 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 Minister. All right. So it is because of the concerns you people have raised. It is because of the questions you people have asked. That's why we reached out to the Ministry of Information this afternoon to give us information on this whole thing about Big Brabee Liberia. Do we have him line? So the minister that we're having a conversation with right now, he's the one that presided over the meeting with the organizers of Big Brabee Liberia, Minister Daniel. He's, by the way, Attorney Daniel Gayedyu. Daniel Gayedyu is the Deputy Minister for Ministry. So he's giving us information. He's explaining some basic things about this thing. I don't know whether this is deliberate, that the minister left the line, or is something technological, because this is a very sticky issue. Like Africa is if you listen to the show this morning, Straight from the Heart, you notice that we played you a video of African leaders, right? They all spoke they took a position on homosexuality. The Rwandan president, Paul Kagame, said that has not been an issue in Rwanda, and he doesn't intend to make it an issue. The former president of the Gambia, Yahya Jammeh, said even if the entire world can legalize homosexuality, as long as he remains president, then there is no way he would have legalized it, and nothing the world would have done to him, as if he cared. So this other president, former president Robert Mugabe said the association of sodomites in the world that are asking Africans to get involved into homosexuality. He just has he informed the world that Africans are not gays. All right. So Edgar Longo said, wait, this whole thing you talking about, man, how do you intend to explain this? You mean to tell us the only way we're going to look sharp and smart and thin is when we engage in this act that is against our cultural norms? Then if that's how you want to see it, then take your aid, carry back to the West, leave us alone. We're not going to breach our cultural norms because we want to feel a monk. And that's exactly what's happening today in our world. You know, many young people, brilliant people, you know, you see a smart young man and think probably he does not have the resources at a time to appear sharp, to appear good looking. So the next thing he wants to do is that he finds that man who is sitting in his house, he's earned a lot of money, and the only way he can get his way out is to ensure that he uses that money to influence the young people to doing what they do not want to do. That's why you see some of our young brothers are behaving like gays. Ask any of them, why did you get involved into gayism? African leaders, many of them have spoken. They say it is non-African. So this conversation, the real intent behind this conversation this afternoon was to basically, verify the information whether they are homosexuals in the house. But while the minister is still, we are yet to get him on. Like, can we have a conversation with you? The few lines you've heard, the few comments you've heard from the minister. Can you join us now? Do we have him back on? All right, call us on the numbers 0777-777-107, 0777-777-221-223. I would like the producers, please check in that particular folder. I would like for you to display an image I shared this morning. That particular image of a young man in Big Brabee, Liberia, behaving like a woman. Is that African? Is that the culture of Liberia? Now, the minister said to us that if someone enters in that place and they decide to do things contrary to the cultural norms, they will be evicted. So a man behaving like a woman in the presence of a fellow men and other women, is that a Liberian culture? The minister is back on the line. It's a pleasure, Minister. Welcome back. We sincerely apologize.
Yeah, thank you, my brother. Sorry, the line is bad.
Yeah, I certainly understand that. So I just informed the public that we are having a conversation of an attorney at law. I try to look at the two words, sodomy and homosexuality. Maybe you didn't want to use homosexuality, but the law is against sodomy. Let me go straight to the point. Minister, are you aware that there are homosexuals in Big Brabee Liberia house right now?
No, I'm not aware.
You're not aware?
I don't know the sexual orientation of the housemates.
But
I don't know if you. I don't really know if you. I doubt that you even know too. Are you aware?
Well, that's not now. The question is basically because you talk about people entering the house and displaying Liberian culture. It is Liberian. Is it Liberian for a man to dress like a woman, model, and behaves in a way that is despicable to what you refer to as obscenity?
It's not Liberian. Now, what happened when we engaged the organizers? And what happened then was a drama they said was happening on the show. Somebody was dramatizing. Now, and we explained to them that if this will be the case, in fact, we should discourage that. But if it will be the case, as in the case of maybe you want to discourage drug abuse, and then on the show, there is a small drama. And in that drama, you have somebody smoking or using drugs. In that way, the essence is not to promote, to discourage people from using drugs. Now, that is a play. So we advise them that if this will happen, there should be a voice over that this is a play. This is a drama that is being carried out. And at the same time, we told them to prevent recurrence of such as much as possible. But you cannot determine and I don't even want to go into that.
Okay, now that is a very critical one for someone to say this person is a homosexual. Yeah, sometimes the action can determine, can make people to think otherwise about that.
No, the action. but not the dress code. I mean, the action is about which action. Which
Minister,
action?
Minister, let me tell you what.
You know the definition.
Minister, I hear from you know, one of the counties here. Yeah, I am a traditionally oriented man. I know my African suit. I know what I'm supposed to wear. I know certain clothes I need to wear to make me appear Liberian and responsible young man. If I put on a clothes, if I do cross dressing, obviously there's going to be a different interpretation about me. That's why I asked you earlier. What did you do during
that's what I'm saying.
Minister, I'm still concerned about the vetting process of these young people, sir.
You made mention of your traditional attire. Now, if you wear a suit and tie, it doesn't make you American. It doesn't make you European. You're still an African. And if a European man wears an African shirt, it doesn't make him an African. So the sexual orientation of somebody cannot be determined by the clothes they wear in a drama.
All right. That's a good point. Well, I don't know how the public reacts to that, but I think you nailed it. We are having a conversation with Minister Daniel Gayedyu, is the Deputy Minister for Administration at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism. He's on the line this afternoon. All of you who have had issues with Big Brabee Liberia, most especially the way you know, the participants in the house are carrying themselves, the interaction they're having. It's a reality TV show. I don't know how the minister intend to tell me that there's realities. There are some people they are.
No, I can say, if you didn't understand, reality TV is not different from reality. In reality, we are certain things. There are norms that frown on certain things. There are laws that prohibit certain things. So that same situation is replicated in a reality TV show. It doesn't mean that everybody there is just free to do anything they want to do. So reality TV show does not mean you have the freedom to do wrong.
So by the meeting you just held with the organizers, does it mean that we're not going to be seeing any male, someone who appears to be a male? Because at this time now, this world we are in, you don't just consider someone to be a male or female. You have to give someone a chance to tell you who they are. So we're not going to be seeing men or people who appear to be males behaving like women. Is that what you're saying?
We did not go down to every detail.
Why not?
But our guidelines, the aspiration is to promote the positive cultural values of our country. Now, if there are things that are contrary, it may not only be because somebody dressing like a female, as I said. There are several other things. There are several other things that are included. It's a whole plethora of different issues. So if they are going to do it, the first thing is we're going to prevent it as much as possible. But if somebody will want to breach the guidelines, then action will be taken. And if we investigate and see that Big Brabee allow it, action will be taken against them. But like they said, there was one thing that they said over and over during the meeting. Yes, we acquainted the people with the guidelines. The participants know well what they're supposed to do, but we can determine sometimes what they will do. So in that case, somebody just decided to misbehave unexpectedly. In that case, they're supposed to be responsible to just stop it or just blur the scene and then evict that housemaid. The rules, we explain to them that they should make the public more conversant with the rules. So tomorrow nobody should say somebody cheated somebody. Because the rules are there. If you do this, you will get out.
Okay. Now, I want to go back to the vetting process because I strongly believe that the Ministry of Information should sit along with the organizers and vet the contestants in a way that the ministry will know this contestant is going to display the true Liberian culture. I do not intend to give, sir, I do not intend.
Excuse me. Matthias, excuse me.
Yes, sir.
How do I know that you will wear female clothes tomorrow? How do I know that?
I just want to end my thought on something.
I know that?
I just want to end my thought on something because I do not intend to give a puritanic view of how the intelligence of the young people and the young women as well. Prior to the contestants even entering the house, there were short videos of these contestants on social media, and some of them still made their way into the house, that they could not, demonstrate their arguments properly, to many people. That was the beginning of the criticism of this entire Big Brabee Liberia. What did the ministry do to quickly step into
Matthias, let me explain something to you. This is not a show that have been ongoing for years. Like in a new project, there will be teaching problems. Like the thing where a baby was born, when the baby start having teeth, the baby will start experiencing headache and fever and all of that. So it's new to Liberia. There are teaching problems that the ministry is addressing very effectively. So when this happened, what we even told them during the meeting is to raise the bar. We told them that, to raise the bar for contestants. And they promised to look into that. That will be for the future. So as mistakes occur, the ones that are intentional will be dealt with. The ones that are avoidable will be avoided.
Okay, so we hope that we should expect that in next edition we will have some correction on on that particular
No, you even have the correction now, but as they go on, the next edition will even be better than this, and the edition after that will be better than the other one, because it's a new thing. That's one thing that we should acknowledge. It's brand new to Liberia. So some of these slips will occur, but we are not welcoming them because it's new. And we're not giving excuse because it's new, but it's just a fact that you and I have to acknowledge.
Minister,
you just say, how do I know that somebody will wear or female or male will wear female clothes the next day? How will the organizers know? Maybe that those are questions that people can go into, and our findings can lead us to have another level of guidelines.
Minister, before I open the lines, I have a question here from Dr. Batum Kula from the US. He's not asking, by the way, but he's urging the Ministry of Information to carefully monitor the music on the radio stations as well. The DJs are not playing the clean version or the radio edit versions. He said that you people should please pay attention to the music. How well are you, people working with the music industry, even radio stations? There are a couple of radio stations in this town.
We are doing just that. We are doing just that. We do it through our persuasive means, and we have been encouraging radio stations. If you can remember, a few times back, we even issued a press release condemning such practices. So this is something that is our priority, and we are working on that. We are working on that.
Okay.
We have to persuade people to do the right thing, and we have to discourage people who are involved in this to stop.
At this point, Minister, let me also involve the audience to maybe ask you some questions that I did not ask, and also make their points.
You didn't tell me that I would have been on your show this long.
So sorry about that.
You didn't. Yeah. I have another engagement. I don't know.
I tell you, if that's the case, then I wouldn't mind, letting you go, sir. But if you can, if we didn't, if you do,
you told me, I think 10 minutes.
Yeah,
or so.
Expansion. So sorry about that.
If you don't want 30 minutes now.
So what do you?
I think I have a problem. I mean,
okay,
spending as long as you want me to, but then the time you gave me.
No, if you have something very urgent to do, I think so far you've answered some of the questions. But if it is very urgent that you don't want to hear some of the concerns from the public, because it is a public that prompted.
I don't. Is that the urgency that made me not want to? No.
Okay.
I want to hear it, but then you gave me a different schedule, and now I can't fit in the one that you're adjusting as on my feet.
No, that's what I'm saying. So. Go. Yeah, he's a public figure. Yeah. All of the questions, whatever question you have, please. And I'm very sure how to give you the answers. Not through me. I know how to get the answers for you. Let's hear from this person. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pele.
Yeah, to be real, right? I'm very disappointed in the minister. So the Ministry of information should be on top of things in promoting Liberian culture, whether it's through music or art or whatever. So just a point that people will start to air things to represent Liberia, then they say they come to condemn them. We should be condemning that ministry. Every script that is play or answer the poll, they should be informed. They have agents that know what we are doing. Maybe if our music our children are thinking, the Liberians are producing and our children are thinking. So that nations are disgrace. Baba.
Take it easy. Let's move on to another person. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Matthias.
Good afternoon, sir.
This is Kelvin, and I'm calling from Broad Street, Monrovia City.
Oh, Kevin, go ahead.
Matthias.
Yes, sir.
Let me say sorry for embarrassing the minister. The minister does not want to answer sufficient of the necessary questions we want to ask him. The first thing, the minister does not really monitor the radio stations around the country. Do they have a monitoring system? Because they still playing, say you hope for Joe on the radio station. You understand me? Number two, the minister must be very fair. At the Brabee, there are too many faggot people there.
How would you know?
And listen, we have our little children because the program is on cycle. When your subscription is off, you watch free channel and the program is on cycle. I have my 10-year-old son watching somebody behaving like a female, and you do a stellar within our individual community. That's the individual regular lifestyle. All the things that people do on the TV, it's a reality show, and that's a reality. So the minister should not be here to say you have meeting with the people and we have a gala. When you're asking about the vetting process, he can explain. We kind of people that mean in his position that can give the public the rightful information. I mean, it's so embarrassing. It was going hard to leave the line so we can, be free to have conversation with you. But to be very honest, I'm so disappointed in this other Brabee Liberia. There are too many faggot people in the house.
Thanks for the contribution, Kevin.
Good afternoon.
Good. Take it easy, my man. I sense anger in your voice. You got to slow down, Chief. Good afternoon. Let's hear you. Yeah.
But what's up, man? What's up?
We getting guy. Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Lamini Kemoka, man. I'm calling from Johnson Street.
Go ahead, Kemoka.
You know, the only disappointment I have with the minister is that, you know, in the constitution, he does not know the provision, that talk about gay, and, you know, that's the only disappointment I have with him. He never made that clear.
No, but he did not come to explain to us about the constitution. We did not invite him as a lawyer. So that's why I said, though he's an attorney at law, his information.
But you mentioned that he's an attorney at law, so you have to give clarity on that. But that is not the point. The point is, this is a reality show, you know. Yeah. So if you don't want to watch it, unfortunately, and I even on the national TV online, you know, even on Sapon. So I don't think that the minister have problem with that, because this is a reality show, for Christ's sake.
So they push you do anything, eh?
That's reality, my dog. Talking about reality show.
Okay.
There's nothing faking about it. You don't need to fake anything. Make everything real.
I tell you. Let's move on to another person.
Matthias.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you know, this morning I think we talking about the same thing.
What's your name, sir?
This is something calling for Central people.
Mr. Capper, please go ahead.
You know, our culture are being polluted to a certain level. Look, Matthias, if you go to some show, like in my community, I saw some case going to a kind of talent show. They have a kind of they call it twerking. I went into that show.
Oh my man. Go ahead.
No.
What's the issue with twerking?
What I'm saying, our society is getting so evil. Because that particular dance, if you watch it as an adult, I mean, you will get confused about children. So what is happening for that show you're talking about? Children, that's the evil of our time. And I don't know how we can go. We keep talking. What life going on? That talking show. It's so evil to our young people. Thank you.
Some things, some points that some of our brothers get raised. Is it twerking? Is it evil? Twerking, you know, twerking and do those on men, eh? I think we're big. I mean, I don't talk much about that, right? So, anyway, mature women do a lot of, dance. That's a dance, by the way. But when a man is seen doing that, someone who appears to be a man is seen doing that, that raises some other concerns. So let's hear you two. Call us on those numbers: 07777 221 Let's hear from this other person. So the minister hit the point. One of the things he said, well, this is new and we're still working on building on it. Let's hear from this other person. Hello.
Yes. Matthias, how you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Please, I forgot I wanted to ask a question. This is Kelvin.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so Matthias, on the reality show, I want to ask the minister, if it is necessary, I can smoke my marijuana, I can take in my drugs, because a reality show is accepted.
The minister said no, absolutely no. Even though it's a reality show, but there are guidelines. You just talk about certain things you don't want your 10-year-old to see. Even you that's asking the question. Let's put it that way too.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't want your son to see a man. Probably he admired the guy's appearance, and immediately he sees that guy smoking marijuana or whatever you call it on the reality television show. It will certainly inform his decision that, well, this is a good thing to do. Arthur can do it.
Then this is the reason. This is the reason why we say the individuals are behaving like a female. Indeed, the big Brabee should take him from the house and move the show on.
All right. Thank you so much. And the minister said that the organizers informed them that was some kind of drama, something they were dramatizing, and somebody needed to act a certain way. But he said the mistake that the organizers made, they did not do a voiceover to indicate that it was a drama, and they just needed for someone to display something that is prohibited by the Liberian society. But at the end, you must provide a disclaimer to whatever you put out there, most especially you are on a reality TV show. So as we draw down the curtains on the presentation, a lot has been, said about this whole reality TV show thing, this big Brabee Liberia thing. A lot of people, have raised concerns. A lot of people have talked about a number of things. They've asked questions. Why is this other person behaving this way? Why is that other person behaving that way? And so, but one of the questions I didn't ask the minister, which is a mistake on my part, is that the first edition of the program also, there were reports that 2 persons had sex on camera in the house, and it was seen by many people. And that was also a reality TV show. It was also at that time the organizers are already been given permit, and I'm very sure the guidelines were already in existence. Probably the ministry, like right now, the ministry is now talking about sending inspectors there, right? So again, it contradicts the definition of reality TV show. Guidelines, yes. All right. Inspectors, meaning they are now going to be scripted, right? They are now going to be scripted on how to act, and that's where the faking is going to come from. Usually, the reason why you see some journalists, they want to sit on a radio station, on a platform that they can speak freely and clearly to whoever asks the hard questions, is because by the time you sit on a platform, you're working with an institution that determines the way you think. Dr. Carter Woodson said in his book, The Miseducation of the Negro, that once you can control a man's thinking, you don't have to worry about his actions. He will certainly act the way you want him to act, because you already know how he thinks. You control his mind. You are the remote control. You are the one that determines how he thinks and all of that. So if you see some people, they're hungry in this profession. They keep talking, they're critical, they keep raising critical issues, they keep maintaining independence. It's because these are people, they just want to be free, right? They just want to speak freely. They want to be real. The profession calls for, truth telling. The profession for everything. So it is something the profession calls for truth telling. It calls for boldness. It calls for aggressiveness. Aggressive in that when you want this information, go for it. Do all you can to make sure you get it. But if you find yourself in an environment that will not give you that space, you become your voice. You become censor. Sometimes people do self-censorship because of certain reasons. But until then, folks, you've heard from the Ministry of Information. Sodomy is prohibited. You and I cannot tell whether the people, some of the young men in the house that are behaving, in Brabee Liberia house that are behaving like women are homosexuals or not. Probably they just like acting that way. But is that a Liberian culture for a man to, pose himself as a woman? No, it is not Liberian. In fact, it is non-African. Cross-dressing is not even allowed in some of our communities. Now to talk of homosexuality. My name is Matthias Labindi. Join me tomorrow from 7 to 9 o'clock.